Hi everyone, this is Veronica. Today our topic of discussion is depression in workplaces. Now you might be thinking why we have included this topic, what is depression to do in our exams. So see, from UPSC perspective, when we are asked to give our opinions on health sector, so we can think about all the angles for the communicable diseases, for the sexually transmitted diseases, or the other outbreaks, epidemics like Ebola, Zika virus, but we never think about the mental disorders, right? The depression is quite common, and there are alarming situations in our country also. Several data by WHO shows that. Therefore we are talking about depression in workplaces here, and you can give your answer a new look including depression in your answers relating to health sector and plus in ethics and case studies, because you are going to join tomorrow as an officer, so you have to deal with a workplace and with your subordinates also. You have to take care of their mental health also as an employer, as an officer. For my video updates, you can follow me on Instagram, and for the PDF of this lecture, it will be included on my Facebook profile. So guys, this is the channel StudyIQ. If you're preparing for any government exam, our pen drive and tablet courses are also available. For additional information, you can visit our website or you can call on these numbers which are given on the screen. So my videos, the explanation is available in Hindi and English both. So now what is the issue? So see, the companies in our country, in India, they do not recognize the condition of mental health. They do not recognize the problem like stress. They do not recognize the problem like depression. So therefore there's a need to put a policy in place to deal with such situations. Because I'll just talk about some data here by several surveys, even by WHO. So it is like 20 million. It is estimated that 20 million Indians are suffering from depression. And when we talk about the data in 2012, it shows there were large number of suicides in our country. The number of suicides were 2,58,000 in 2012, and the age bracket of the people who committed suicide was between 15 to 29. So you see, suicide is totally a preventable thing. So why we are losing so much young generation, because the age is 15, the bracket is 15 to 29, to depression. So therefore we need to look into this. So if we see the status of doctors, if we see how many psychologists are available, there are one psychologist available for 13 lakh people in our country. And if we talk about psychiatrists, there are around 3,800 psychiatrists who are available for 3,30,000 number of people in our country, right? And even there are certain other data which I'll tell you. In our country, 150 million people, you can say the adolescents which are above the age of 13, likely to reach the age of 13. So there are more chances for them to fall in the class of depression. And depression has been more reported in urban areas. It has been more seen in urban areas because of the busy working style. And even adolescents fall 7.3%, they fall for depression. And women have depression twice more cases are reported for the women who are depressed rather than men. And 50% of population is having one or other kind of stress related problems who are working. So now just see what is the status of mental health issue in workplaces. So see, the number of workers who are severely depressed or vulnerable to taking their lives is increasing in our country. India is having a crisis of mental health, so it will soon be an epidemic in our country, especially in the corporate sector. Now depression among employees is a big cause of lost productivity, because when your employees, there's a problem of mental health with your employees, the productivity will decrease. Now see, 50% of Indian workforce is suffering from one or some other kind of stress related problems, and 8% people from these workforce, they even think to commit suicide. They have a tendency to commit suicide, and this is really dangerous. Now see, what are the usual causes for depression? It is the work, it is the money, It is the family issues are there. There are pressure related to jobs which people cannot handle, and they have seen that people are experiencing sleep disorders because of their jobs. They are experiencing fatigue. There is a general feeling of poor health among a lot of people in the corporate sector who are working in companies, who are in workforce, you can say. So just see what is the present status of companies in our country. The HR departments, they do not have any policy for mental health. They do not recognize the mental health perspective of their employees. There's another this report, according to this report, Wall Street Journal report, Indian millennials, they spend more time at work than their counterparts in 25 other countries. So what kind of more work Indians are doing here? This is the question here. See, in foreign countries, usually in most of the countries, Western countries, if you talk about US, you talk about UK, if there is a working hour time in corporate from 9 to 5, it means 9 to 5. It does not mean 5. Okay, but in India, if you're going to your company through a job, if you're leaving from home at 10, then when you are coming back, you have no idea. It could be 10, it could be 11, and in stress periods, it could be 1 in the night also. So Indians need to maintain a work-life balance. Employers, the companies need to look into the policies, like how they are doing the work. I'll just give you a real-life example. One of my friend is working in UK. So she just told me that there was a man in her company. So he was having his divorce. So he took a long leave of 1 month. So when he came back, the company called a psychiatrist to see his mental condition. So this was not to depress him more, but they actually care for their employee. So the psychiatrist or psychologist they called, he actually saw there is still the symptoms of mild stress in that person, so they send him on a leave for more 10 days to revive, so that when he's fresh he can come back and contribute to the company. But such kind of things in India, they do not exist, right? And there's a problem with the people also. They also cannot talk to the people directly about their mental health. Firstly, sometimes there's a case that we don't recognize if we are suffering from such a problem, and then there's a fear of risking the career. People think that the career will be halted, or there will be an impact on their career and even on their personal life if they talk about such issues. Thus, the corporate India, it needs to rethink about the working style of the people, work hours, because there are no defined work hours in the corporate India, and they need to see the opportunities they are providing to their employees in the workplace. So now what should be done? These companies in our country, they should try to frame policies that deals with the mental health status of the employee, and overall guidelines could be issued. Awareness programs can be engaged. Now see what WHO guidelines say. What are the common signs of depression? So if you're not able to concentrate, see, there is a problem of concentration sometimes, so not every time it is depression, but if it is constant, it could be a symptom of depression. If there is a problem in making decisions, it could be a symptom of depression. And then if an employer notices a visible change in the performance of the employee, so it could be a common sign of depression. If there is inconsistent productivity, and if your employee is making constant errors and the work quality has decreased, reduced, it could be depression. And if you get to see some oversensitive reactions from the employee, sometimes you can judge that as a person, so it could be a sign of depression. These are the common signs of depression. So what should be done within the workplaces? The conversation is very important. If it becomes uncomfortable for the employee, what you can do, you can refer to a more professional person, a clinical trained person, because we do not have to feel that other person should feel bad, the employee should feel bad. So you need to take care of his mental health. You should call a more professional person to deal with such situations in your organization. Now every employer, what they should do, they must introspect their companies, their sectors, their organization regarding the health and safety policies also. These are the guidelines actually set by the WHO, because they really take the mental health seriously. Thus, corporate India must detect, recognize depression. We need to recognize this, because actually it is something like the people who do not suffer, who have not seen it closely, they don't take it seriously. They tell you it's okay, there's nothing, you'll be okay, you'll be all right. But for the person who's going through depression, because of lately you have seen many celebrities talking about depression also, like Deepika Padukone has actually talked and is doing a lot for this. So therefore you need to recognize this problem. Corporate India need to recognize this problem among its staff, and they have to intervene at the right time and support their staff members with all kind of programs and help them to be productive for the workplace, because it will be beneficial to the country, to the corporate sector, and to the person obviously, right? So even depression, so this is about the workplace we are talking, because tomorrow you will be the bureaucrats, you need to frame policy. Such policies should come into our country. But as for aspirants, we have seen depression in students also. So you need to love yourself, you need to analyze your lifestyle. It should be good, because there is no particular cause for depression. It could be biological, it could be genetic, and there are obviously environmental influences also. So how you can manage the stress? You have to be physically very active, you should take balanced diet, you should avoid stimulants. So what happens in aspirants usually, when you are studying, you take very short breaks for tea. In 2 hours you are having tea, in 2 hours you are having coffee. Many people fall for cigarettes also. So tea, coffee, cigarettes, they cause dehydration in your body. So even stomach related problems also start. So if you are taking breaks, you should involve in some constructive work, in some hobbies. So avoid these stimulants and sleep well, rest well. This is for aspirants, but yes, this topic was for the workforce in India. If you have any confusions, you can talk to me on social network. PDF will be available on my Telegram channel. Thank you.